So, Bradford and I want to try something new and a little bit scary and very vulnerable. We want to start a series called We Believe Wednesdays. And basically, the idea of these Wednesdays is that we casually just sit on the couch, have a conversation like we would be talking to a friend about what we believe. Because as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I feel like there's a lot of misconception, and I'm so surprised at how many times I talk to people and they're surprised that I'm Christian. A nickname that a lot of people know us by is Mormons. And so when people understand that, oh, wait, Mormons are Christian, it's really confusing to them. So the purpose of this is we'll just share 2 to 5 minute videos every Wednesday of what we believe as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So to start off, we kind of wanted to do the first video on why in the world we're doing this. And for me personally, the reason why this I felt like kept being brought upon my heart over and over again, and it was God nudging me and pushing me to do this, is that I want people first and foremost to know that I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ, that I love him, I strive to know him, and that these are the values that we're building our family on. So that's number one. And then number two is that all the time when I'm having conversations with friends and sharing what I believe, I want people to be able to see that there are similarities in what we believe compared to other Christians, as well as there's some peculiar differences. And so this is kind of a good opportunity to talk about some of those differences and why we believe them and have come to know that these things are true for ourselves. But yeah, that's kind of my why. What's your why?
Well, Camille presented this idea to me, and I should say first off, like I don't love being filmed, and I don't love like doing videos, and I don't even have social media. I know Camille and I kind of share a social media account, but I'm not super active on it. So this is way outside of my comfort zone. When Camille presented the idea to me, I took time to think about it. And as I thought about it, I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity. And here's why I feel like it is a good opportunity is as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we believe we are, or we are striving to be disciples of Jesus Christ. And one of the things that Christ expects of his disciples is that his disciples testify of him. And you look back to the New Testament in the Bible, and you look at the example of his disciples and what he taught his disciples. One of my favorite scripture heroes is Peter. I've always, ever since I started reading the scriptures, I've always felt close to Peter, and I love his story and I love his example. In fact, I was a missionary in Santiago, Chile. Towards the end of my mission, I had a gentleman make some leather covers for my scriptures. And so he would ask, you know, what images do you want kind of carved into the leather? And on my Bible, on the front page of my Bible scripture cover, it's a picture of Peter on the shore of Galilee with Christ talking to him. And that image represents the story of when Peter and the disciples, following the crucifixion of Christ and his death, they didn't know what to do. And so Peter said, well, let's just go back to fishing because that's what we know how to do. And so all the disciples following Peter, who was the leader at that time, followed him back to the Sea of Galilee to fish. And Christ, as a resurrected being, comes and approaches them on the shore of Galilee, and he calls to Peter, and Peter comes to the shore, and they have this conversation where Christ asks Peter 3 times if he loves him, and he continues to tell Peter, feed my sheep. I've always loved that story, and it's always touched my heart. And I realized that part of feeding the sheep of Christ is by testifying of him and sharing your love for him and sharing your knowledge of him. And I recognize that sometimes I'm like Peter, and I get on the boat and I forget what the most important thing Christ has asked us to do is. I get caught up with work and with family and with church obligations and all these things that keep us busy, that I forget that Christ has asked us to feed his sheep. And one of the things that we do by as feeding his sheep is testifying of him. And so when Camille presented this idea to me, even though it's way outside my comfort zone, I decided this is a way that I can testify of Christ and share my testimony of him, and also share my thoughts and feelings about our beliefs and what we believe as members of the Church of Jesus Christ, what we believe as a couple, and what we believe as a family, because I do have a lot of friends that I know are connected with Camille on here. I know Camille has a lot of friends that are connected on here that might not know or understand completely what we believe, and this is maybe a good forum for us to shed some light on that. So despite this being outside of my comfort zone, and I know somewhat outside of Camille's comfort zone, I think it's a great opportunity, and hopefully, create some understanding, because I think when we create understanding of what we believe and what our friends believe, it creates deeper love and connection as well. And not that we're all going to believe the same things or come to the same conclusions on certain things, but if we are willing to understand each other, it creates deeper connections and deeper love within our relationships.
Yeah, I love that you just said that, because that's exactly what I was going to say to finish it up. I was going to say, like, it creates stronger friendships, because when someone shares with me something that they believe and that they're building their family on, and it's a value that they hold very sacred and dear to them, after they get done sharing it with me, I feel like it makes our friendship that much closer and stronger, and I know them as a person now so much better. And so we want to be able to create better friendships, and we want to create more understanding. So that's why we're doing this, and we'll see how it goes. But every Wednesday, like I said, we're going to create a YouTube channel so that we have all the videos there for people to go and look at. And then we'll just post like little blurbs of what we're doing and stuff like that, maybe on Facebook and on Instagram. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.